Expecting third-level students and their parents to pay out deposits for accommodation when they don't know yet what their timetable will be for the new academic year is madness. That's according to Mayo TD Rose Conway-Walsh. The Sinn Féin spokesperson on higher education says that some third-level institutions have not yet provided clarity on their timetables, and students cannot be expected to sign leases on accommodation for the new semester until they receive their timetable. Deputy Conway-Walsh told Paula Donlan that the two ministers involved, Norma Foley and Simon Harris, should get involved, as there's a lot of confusion for third-level students at present.
There is indeed, Paula. So students who are going back, who are either returning to college or ones that are starting new at college, don't know what their year is going to look like. So expecting students and their hard-pressed parents to hand over deposits for accommodation when they don't know what the timetables looks like is madness. So what I'm trying to do is to get the government and get the ministers, both Minister Norma Foley and Simon Harris, to come out and make a statement on the issue.
Is it not up to the individual colleges or universities, though, to publish their timetables now so that students know, for example, how many days per week they will be on campus?
And for sure that they should. But they cannot be the government can't just have a hands-off approach and say these are all independent colleges. I think the Higher Education Authority needs to get involved here as well to make sure that the plans are made transparent to the students, because we cannot just be leaving students and the colleges to fend for themselves when it comes to returning to campus. So it's not just down to the institutes. Now, I know some of them are good. I know there's a couple of universities who have shown what their school year is going to look like and what the plan is going to look like. But they all haven't. Too many of them haven't. And it's this uncertainty that landlords, I'm getting calls from students and from parents where landlords are ringing up and they're demanding deposits. So they're saying if you want accommodation or you want to have the same accommodation as you had last year, you need to pay a deposit. Now, they're asking me, what will they do? So I cannot advise students or their families to sign any long-term leases. So what I'm saying to them, in the absence of anything from government, is to hold off on it. Now, I also know that can cause problems later on in terms of having accommodation. But we can't expect students to sign up to something and hard-pressed families to sign up to something when they don't know if they'll be using it or not.
And some of those families are still awaiting refunds for rent they paid for, we'll say, the last term of the last academic year.
And for sure they are. And they paid out thousands for that accommodation that they never used either, and that they were locked out of, and they couldn't travel to pick up their belongings because they weren't allowed, rightly so, for the safety of the country. They weren't allowed to travel. So they were caught then with having to pay over thousands of euro that they never actually used. Now, I have one student from going to Mary I, and when her mother contacted me, and it's like they're demanding 6,000 euro for the after Christmas term. Now, they don't know whether she's going to be in college 1 week per month or 1 day or however we're going to do it. So if she was in college, say, for 1 week per month, it would end up that student was paying 1,000 euro a week for their accommodation. We can't have that. It's absolutely crazy. So the ministers need to show leadership here, and they need to address these concerns, and they need to stop leaving students and the colleges to fend for themselves.
And that's Deputy Rose Conway-Walsh.